Hey everyone, I am your astrologer, Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here is your daily forecast for the day of Sunday, June 3rd, 2018. Now before I get started, I did just have one announcement, and that is to let you all know that my June 2018 webinar, the recording of it, is now for sale on my website if you are interested in learning more about what this month may bring. I do think that this month may bring a little bit more of a change in our reputation and where we thought our life was going, so that we can start to do more of what's in our heart and to really let our heart come through. Maybe a little bit of a readjustment here to see our life differently. That may not be quite what we were hoping for, but I think by the end of it, it's really going to be a chance for us to figure out what's going on inside our hearts and to let more of that be known, to let the other people in our life understand what's going on inside us, even if we have to go back on some of our some of the things that we've said earlier in the year. Okay, so if you're interested in learning more about what that means exactly and about how that may play out for you, please check the link down below in my description box. Now for your horoscope for today, what we do have is the moon hanging out here in Aquarius. Now the moon in Aquarius brings our attention to the big picture, to thinking about things, maybe in a little bit more of an abstract sense sometimes, to just being out and about, socializing, getting different perspectives on things, taking a step back from some situations, detaching from some situations in our life to see things a little bit differently, okay? Yeah. So that's what's going on here with the moon in Aquarius, thinking a lot about our goals and dreams, what inspires us as well. Now at 5 a.m. Mountain Time, this moon in Aquarius is going to conjunct Mars, where you see it right here in this chart. So again, the Mars can superpower some of your feelings, bring some really strong feelings, aggressive feelings, sometimes that aren't the most pretty with Mars. That can come in very early on, especially with the moon about to conjunct the south node here 2 hours later at 7 a.m. Mountain Time, can definitely bring some frustrations. For those of you who watch me, a lot of you know I don't really like the moon on the south node because we feel held back. We're dealing with the past. It's hard to move forward. That can definitely happen here, just feeling a little bit frustrated. Okay, with the north node in Leo, we want to do the Leo thing. And maybe we want to do some other things as well going on in the chart, but we want to do the Leo thing. We want to be happy. We want to connect with people. We don't want to disengage. We want to engage. We want to engage with others. We want to engage our hearts, the hearts of other people. And when the moon's in the south node, sometimes it's hard for us to do that. It's hard for us to do the things that we like, especially in Aquarius. It's hard for us to really connect with our lives, to connect with others, to do what makes us happy, because we have to think long term. We have to take a step back. We have to get a different perspective on things. We have to be in the mind instead of the heart, which can make this a little bit frustrating very early this morning, but really needing to, I know I said this yesterday, lighten up a little bit, really needing to be okay with things not going according to plan. That's the best way to handle a moon on the south node, is to be okay if you don't feel quite right, to be okay if it's hard for you to engage, and to just allow yourself to explore other options, to, especially in Aquarius, to be taken by the wind with whatever comes up, to kind of follow your promptings and to not worry if they aren't quite what you were hoping they would be. To not worry if your life's not living up to your expectations. And I think by removing that pressure or that expectation that we have for today and our life to be a certain way. Well, today I said I was going to do this and I didn't. You know, I think by removing that expectation from your life of what you were hoping it would be, and of what you were hoping today would be, I think it makes a lot of these moon south node days a lot easier to handle than they would if you keep pretending like it's a normal day, trying to live life as usual, trying to do the things you would do, or trying to make major progress. And this day isn't a good day for that, but it's a good day to chill out a little bit, to not get so stressed if things don't go according to plan, and to allow your mind to wander and to see things differently, okay? Mars can make you want to double down a bit with some of your feelings, to engage, or it could bring a lot of mental activity coming in, but really needing to just be patient here, and to allow whatever comes to you to come to you, and to not worry if it doesn't go the way that you want, because it will work itself out later another day once the moon moves from here. All right, so that's what we've got going on. Then at 11, oh, nope, it's 1. Then at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, the moon moves further through Aquarius and makes a trine to Mercury. And what that could definitely bring again at 1 p.m., lots of conversation, since both of these are air signs. And the sun, of course, has been through this spot in a trine with Mars for a while. So we've kind of been doing this for a bit. But again, it's going to come more into focus with the moon here today. Lots of conversations could come up at 1 p.m. And if it's not a conversation with someone else, it could be just a conversation that you have with yourself. Definitely about your life, about your future, about where you see your life going. That could happen here with the moon in Aquarius. Okay, I really do think with the moon here, again, on the South Node in Aquarius, needing to not worry if you can't put all your plans, all your dreams, all your goals into action today. Needing to not worry if you feel like it's hard for you to take steps forward on some of these things that you're thinking and dreaming up and processing with other people. Really needing to allow these ideas to come to you, your mind to explore your options so that you can get a better idea of what is going on, of what you want, so that another day, not today, you can make progress on some of those things. And I think there's just a lot of talking, thinking that's going on here 1 p.m. as we try to deal with perhaps some sense of frustration and being held back. Okay, so that's what I sense there, you know. Yeah, the best way to handle moon on the South Node, especially in Aquarius, is really to just lighten up. I think that's the best way. I know I titled my video yesterday that, but is to really just not pressure yourself if things don't go according to plan, to let what comes come, and to not get too attached to things or to situations for the time being. All right. So that's what happens there. Then a few hours later at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, the moon comes off this trine to Mercury and it makes a trine to the sun. So again, thinking more about where your life is going with the sun and Mercury and Gemini, about your future, exploring your options. Maybe there were some things that you were thinking or communicating about earlier in the day when the moon was in a trine with Mercury that later in the day maybe you're doing more internal work on, trying to just integrate some of the things that you thought about into your identity with the trine to the sun. That could happen at 7 p.m. All right, so that's happening there. And then the last thing I want to mention is actually going to happen tomorrow, kind of 12 a.m. Mountain Time, this morning into tomorrow. And what that's going to be is the moon in a square with Jupiter and Scorpio. So again, what that could bring at midnight with squares could be some frustrations, because Jupiter and Scorpio wants to buckle down, wants to have attachments to people, to places, to things, wants to feel really connected, not quite in the way that Leo does. Leo wants to be a little bit happier and out and about, and Scorpio's got a lot of deep feelings going on inside. And the square here at midnight, again, could be a little bit frustrating, maybe feeling at midnight like you want to do things, but you can't do the things that it is that you really want deep down, that you need to feel emotionally satisfied. That again could be hard, but really needing to allow yourself to detach from some of your own desires, from some of the things that you want, and really needing to change who you are inside, how you process things emotionally to match some new vision of your future that you are just now thinking up, or that you spent some time earlier in the day thinking up, especially with Mars going retrograde in the spot where the moon is now on the South Node. I definitely think where we see our life going is going to change. I did talk a little bit about this in my June 2018 webinar at the link down below, but I think where we see our life going is definitely going to change big time. And instead of us doubling down on what we really want on an old life, I think the moon here is saying, touching the spot, you got to let go of some of the things that it is that you wanted, especially now as we're moving further and further throughout the year. It's getting harder for us to change our life to be what it is that we want to be. Now, instead of changing our life in a practical way, we're got to change our life internally. We have to change our internal perspective on what's going on and get right with ourselves on the inside, so that we can meet now the things that we've done and envision a future based on the things that we've accomplished earlier. And I think that's what happens. There's some frustration here at midnight. We want some things with the moon in this spot in Aquarius. It's hard for us to get the things we want, and instead of getting frustrated, buckling down even more, really needing to let it go, let it go, okay, and to make the appropriate adjustments inside you so that things can come together later, so that you don't get too caught up in uncomfortable feelings, and so that you can meet the demands of your life the way that it currently stands, feeling more whole about it, okay? So that's what I see going on there. Yeah. Yeah, and maybe needing to uncover at midnight as well some of the resistance. If you feel like you're thinking of a new future and there's some resistance inside you, maybe needing to get to the heart of the matter of what you really want and what's stopping you from living a life that you ultimately see for yourself and are dreaming of. Okay? Yeah. So that's what's going on there. And now for some stuff in the background, I will mention what will I start with today? Mercury in a conjunction with the sun, getting closer and closer. So that can, and Gemini too. Mercury's in a great spot, and Gemini, it's home there. So definitely lots of thinking, communicating about yourself, about who you are, about what you want is going on here with this conjunction. Okay, also lots of thinking too, if not communicating about who you are. When the sun and Mercury meet, you're trying to kind of integrate what's going on with the mind, with your soul, to kind of align yourself and get on the same page. And I think that's what we're trying to do, is to figure out what's going on with us. Who are we? What do we want? And how can we think about ourselves in the right ways to align our life, especially with this trine to Aquarius coming in a direction that's better for us, that inspires us. And I think that's what's going on. I know I've been doing a lot of soul searching lately and journaling, and I've just been like, who do I want to be? Who am I really? What would really inspire me? And just, yeah, I think I've just been trying to figure all of that out lately, you know? Yeah. I'm like, do I want to talk to myself for another 5 minutes and drag this video out? But yeah, I know it's just been kind of interesting, because I definitely feel like, just for me personally, like the daily astrology aside, that I'm kind of like in a point in my life. I mean, maybe it's like me, I'm like right after my Saturn return, I have my progressed new moon coming up in October, where I'm like, I feel like I have a better understanding of who I am, like at my core, more than I ever have in my life before this point, which is really, really positive. Because I'm like, when I was younger, I feel like I have my 12th house stellium, so I kind of like was whatever anyone wanted me to be. Like, I can be whatever you want me to be, and I'm a Gemini, and I'm super mutable, so like my personality changes all the time, and I feel like I'm finally starting to get more of an idea of who I am, and to really own that, and to be okay with that, and to live it. But it's just kind of like, what now, and what's next, and is this going in the right direction, and how can I start to feel comfortable with this person that I think I'm now starting to step into? So yeah, I don't know. So that's interesting with Mercury in a conjunction with the sun, because I definitely feel like I've been having like lots of those, like just been trying to get right with myself. I'm thinking about the future. I always kind of do that with my 11th house moon, but it's definitely been a lot lately about like, who am I? And what's really important to me, and what do I want, and how can I think about myself and who I've become in a way that really resonates with me, and really integrate all of these experiences that I've had lately into who I am, so that I can move forward feeling more whole about it all. I think that's been a big thing, especially today. That was on my mind a lot, so kind of interesting. We also do have the sun here coming into a square with Neptune too, which is like my life, the Pisces Gemini squares. That could also bring up some confusion too. We're trying to figure out who we are, to integrate everything that's happened to us lately into our identity, to get the right perspective on who we are. Now that so many changes have occurred, and perhaps that's confusing, as to where we had this beautiful water trine last week really helping us to get in touch with our emotions. That's kind of ending. And now we have to process the emotions that came up, yes, last week. I like to think that were positive in a more logical sense, and perhaps that's where some confusion comes in. Now that we got in touch with ourselves emotionally with the Grand Water Trine a few days ago, how can we process it more logically, process it more intellectually, figure out how to put some of our feelings into words so that we can understand what's going on inside us, and so that other people can understand the transformation as well that we've had, and the things going on in our hearts. And so I think that's now that this part in the month, still very early on, that maybe some confusion could start to come in here with the square, really needing to figure out how to communicate about what's going on inside you emotionally, and how maybe to wait and be patient for spiritual insights to come to you if you feel like you do not have all of the answers yet about who you are, or who you've now become, and where you want your life to go. All right, and then the last thing that I'll mention is Venus here in an opposition with Pluto. And of course, what that can bring, and it's going to take a few more days for this to come exact, but are some big changes in relationships and money, and how you work with other people, and how people work with you, and how you organize your finances. Also a huge change as well, because since a lot of internal stuff is going on with this grand water trine, with this square to Pisces, with these air placements, could also bring a big change as well in your value systems. What you used to value, maybe you don't value anymore, and you value other things, and maybe having to change your value systems now that your life changed earlier in the year. You have to change what you value, what's important to you, to meet some of the changes that have occurred in your life, and to rearrange some things that have been going on. All right, with Pluto here in Capricorn, our life, as I've been saying, we've been changing our life, our career, where our life was going since the beginning of this year, and now we're trying to get comfortable with some of these big changes that we've made, okay, and trying to figure out, okay, now that this is my life, now that this is what I've done since the beginning of this year, what's happened to me now, how do my relationships fit into this big change that I've made, how does my money situation add up to that, and how do I myself inside feel comfortable and have the right values to support some things that have gone on. And I think that's what's happening here with the Venus in an opposition to Pluto, which I'll be talking about for the next few days until it comes exact. All right, so that's what we've got there. Now your card for the day is the 5, right? It's the 5 of Pentacles reversed. This is an interesting card. This is like one of the few cards it's good to get reversed. Normally when this card's upright, it indicates being in a hard time. It's dark and it's cold, and the people in this card have like broken legs, and they are homeless, and they're just looking for a church. This is like a church window, a stained glass window. They're looking for a church, or like for some kind of home that they can get some food in and get some warm and that kind of thing. And when this card is reversed, it indicates we're coming out of a hard time where we're feeling homeless or lost or without food and some of our basic needs. This card to me does indicate that we're starting to get more of our needs taken care of. Especially with these planets in Cancer. Like Cancer is the sign of like nurturing, feeling nurtured. And we're gonna have more planets in Cancer throughout the next few weeks. And I think maybe that's what we're trying to realize. It could be a little frustrating. I'm not gonna lie, with the moon on the south node today, maybe feeling like it's hard for us to move forward. But I think if we allow ourselves to let our minds wander and to not pressure ourselves too much or put wrong expectations on ourselves, I think there can be a good chance for us to start to understand how we need to adjust now to give ourselves the things that we need to take care of some of our basic needs, and to feel much more settled in life than we have recently. You know, I've been doing the astrology for July. I just looked at it so that I can be prepared and prepare my webinar for next month. And I'm telling you, we've got some solar eclipses. I'm excited. Coming in Cancer, July next month. And of course, once the nodes move into Cancer and Capricorn next year, we're going to have these eclipses in Cancer, which are all about home, all about coming home, finding your home, finding more comfort in your life. And I think that's going to hit us in a really strong way, is how can we get more comfortable in our life than we have previously, which of course I'm going to talk a lot about in your July webinar, and probably for the next year and a half, 2 years while the eclipses are there in Cancer and Capricorn. But it's really going to be all about us starting to find more comfort, to nurture ourselves more than we have recently. Okay, maybe the past few years, especially since 2011, when the last eclipses were in Cancer, Capricorn, maybe since 2011, we've been thinking a lot about big picture stuff, about where our life is going. And I think what we're starting to slowly realize now that the nodes are going to change is that it's not so much about the big picture anymore, about your career, but it's going to become more and more about your heart, about your soul, about what you need to feel comfortable, and about building more roots than it was the past, what, like 8 years of our lives. So I think that's what is coming in with this card, just to prepare you all. It's time for us to settle down a little bit, to figure out what's going on in our life, to tend to our heart and our emotions, so that we can start to build more of a foundation in our life that can support us from here on out, even if it's different from what we thought it would be years ago. Alright, so that's what I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching my horoscope. If you like it, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you later.